Yeah, welcome, Mr. Nizam. So, Mr. Nizam is very experienced in supply chain and logistics, over 30 years, 25 to 30 years of experience in variety of organizations. He's one of the master in logistics and fleet, and also into warehousing. So you name it, 3PL, 4PL, you name it, whatever. So he's a subject matter expert and a practitioner, consultant, and also so the practice, the operations head. Okay, so yeah, Mr. Nizam, please carry on. You can introduce quickly about yourself, and then please.
Yeah, thank you so much, Safid sir. And good evening to all of you on this call. I'm Khaja Nizamuddeen, and I come with around 30 years of experience on supply chain. And I'm more into operations, and that's the reason I expertise in operations in supply chain, end-to-end supply chain basically. So now with the new transforming trends, uh, we are in this current scenario where we are transforming too many things, too many activities that are happening like multimodal, postal. We are trying to utilize a lot of things here uh, uh, to optimize the freight. And in this era, we also tend to we have to also tend to look into a lot of other transformative and sustainable solutions. So I would like to take you forward in that starting now. Uh, and it's been an honor to stand before you all today as we dwell into this fantastic realm of global supply chain and their inevitable evolutions. So the theme given to me today was on revolutionize, revolutionize supply chain, transformative approach to sustainable transportation and fleet optimization. Captures the essence of a critical juncture in our interconnected world. As we embark on this journey of exploration, it is imperative to acknowledge the profound impact of supply chain on the global landscape. If you
Once
take,
again,
yeah.
So, Dr. Kalyan, we could not, so you got a break. So I asked Nizam to continue. Okay.
So we can
So
maybe we can close off with the questionnaire also.
yeah, we can,
Yeah.
or we can take up questions together. Is that okay, Dr. Kalyan? Okay. Yeah. So please continue. We'll have a combined session of the questions. No problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
please.
So when we talk about raw materials to finished goods, the intricate web of the logistics spans continents, shaping economies and societies. Today, I want to share some uh, perspective on the imperative needs to revolutionize our approach to transportation and fleet optimization, steering it towards the sustainability. So I am going to touch base on 10 points, which starts from environmental impact, regulatory compliance, consumer expectations, cost saving and efficiency, resilience in supply chain, visibility and transparency, risk mitigation, global collaboration and partnerships, social responsibility, and finally, long-term viability and competitiveness. So, to start with, like, environmental impacts, uh, evaluating environmental impacts in traditional transportation. This underscores the escalating environmental impact of traditional transportation methods. It starts from deforestation to air and water pollutions. Our supply chain have left a lasting mark on the planet, as we witness the toll of our actions, the challenge lies in devising strategies that not only mitigate but actively contribute to the restoration of our ecosystem. Now, how do we do it? Uh, by adoption of alternate fuels. Okay, let's see what we have in alternate fuels, adoption of alternate fuels. So this being the first beacon of hopes that lie in a widespread adoption of alternative fuels, uh, transitioning away from fossil fuels to cleaner alternatives such as hydrogen, biofuels, and electricity. In pivotal is pivotal to reducing greenhouse gas emission and lessening or dependency on finite resources. The exponential increase in fuel cost highlights the urgency of alternate sustainable solutions. The harbinger of innovative changes, advocating for alternatives in transportation and fleet optimization that can redefine the very fabric of our industry. So, having said this, we have urban aerial mobility, which is where you can imagine a world where the skies are just not just a canvas for clouds, but a highway for sustainable transportation. Urban aerial mobility depicts in futuristic illustration and portraits not only merely a concept but an imminent reality. By harnessing the power of electric vertical takeoff and landing (EVTOL) vehicles, we can transcend traditional road-based constraints and elevated congestion in the urban centers. This solution not only optimizes fleet efficiency but also significantly reduces ground level emissions. It has the potential impact on revealing congestion and decreasing travel time, contributing to a more sustainable and efficient urban transport system. Hyperloop technologies is another one where you would have learned that uh, the popularized visionary entrepreneur Elon Musk involves high-speed transportation in low-pressure tubes. As depicted, Hyperloop systems have the potential to revolutionize long-distance freight transport, drastically reducing transit time and consequently operational costs as well. Yeah.
Can you check the slide, please? If you...
Yeah, it's the first slide. I'm still for a second slide, third slide, I believe. Jeet, can you move to the third slide? Regulatory compliance. No, environmental impacts. Yeah. The first slide. Next. Yes, that's right. I'm in the first point of it, just elaborating on alternative, point number 2, alternative things. So once I move to the next point, I'll pick you. So so apart from this, we have autonomous freight vehicles embracing the future, also entailing welcoming autonomous freight vehicles into the mainstream. These vehicles, equipped with cutting-edge artificial intelligence and sensor technology, have the potential to transform the landscape of freight transportation. When we talk about circular economy in fleet management, uh, it explores the concept of circular economy in fleet management. Instead of viewing vehicles as disposable assets, envision a system where every component of the fleet is designed for durability, repairability, and eventual recycle. This potential reduction in waste and environmental impact to the implementation of a circular economy in fleet management would not only have a paradigm shift, but but this will also evolve in incremental improvement so that we have a better tomorrow. Now, getting into the next point, which is eco-friendly infrastructure development. The significance of eco-friendly infrastructure development, from green roof on distribution centers to sustainable packaging material. Every aspect of our supply chain infrastructure can be designed to minimize the environmental impact. Building with nature rather than against it is the crux of the solution. Shift towards intermodal transportation. A paradigm shift towards intermodal transportation is a third pillar of our sustainable solution. It illustrates the potential reduction in carbon emission through the integration of multiple transportation modes. By seamlessly combining rail, road, air, and sea routes, we can optimize efficiencies and significantly decrease our ecological footprint. Now, coming to the next point, reduction in environmental impact with circular economy, which we have just spoken about. This again let us not forget the indispensable role of a circular economy in fleet management, as demonstrated by prioritizing durability, repairability, and recycling in our vehicle design and manufacturing processes. We can drastically reduce the environmental impact associated with the disposal of obsolete fleet components, which actually gets onto the cost when we invest in vehicle, and which also, if it is repairable part, then it can always be redone. But in the current scenario, it is all junk which gets laid in one part of the what you call our environment, where it also creates a lot of environmental issues for us. Impact on collaborative conservation initiatives. Lastly, this impact of collaborative conservation initiative cannot be overstated as forging alliances with environmental organizations, government, and local communities. We can actually amplify our efforts towards sustainable practices. Together, we can enact policies, raise awareness, and contribute to the preservation of our delicate ecosystem. Go to the next point, which was regulatory compliance related to transportation and fleet management. You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So under this, we have 6 topics. We will just touch base these topics to have a clarity on how these regulatory compliances can help us move forward. Now, what is the complexity in regulatory compliance? Increasing complexity of environmental regulations. The increasing complexity of environmental regulations, a challenge that is accentuated by the global nature of our supply chain. As countries and regions adopt diverse standards and frameworks, maintaining compliance becomes a complex task for businesses operating on an international scale. So, with these systems, with EHS coming in, all governments, all companies across the globe have come up with various standards and frameworks, which are becoming more complicated for companies to work with. And let us see what initiatives can we take to mitigate or overcome these areas of these concerns that frameworks or standards and concerns which can be on a same platform. So let us get into integrated compliance management system. Our first step towards overcoming regulatory compliance challenges involving the adoption of integrated compliance management system, leveraging advanced technologies to streamline the adherence to diverse regulations, offering real-time monitoring, reporting, and adaptability to change legal landscapes. Now, having said this, comes the standardization of sustainable practices. Now, standardizing sustainable practices within the industry by collaborating with regulatory bodies, businesses can contribute to the formulation of clear and uniform standards that align with sustainability goals. This not only simplifies compliance efforts, but also fosters a shared commitment to the environmental responsibility. So now, post standardization. Now, how does it impact on the transparent data systems on compliance? This transformative data systems play a vital role in enhancing regulatory compliance. They establish traceability and visibility across the supply chain. Businesses can readily provide the necessary documentation to prove adherence to environmental regulations. This fosters trust among regulators, consumers, and stakeholders alike. Now, once this is done, so we get on to the next point, improving compliance through education and training. How do we spread this? How do you bring everybody on the same page? It is only through education and training are the fundamental components in overcoming regulatory compliance challenges. Investing in this continuous development of staff and partners, businesses can ensure that all stakeholders are well versed in the latest regulatory requirements and sustainable practices. So this impacts the collaborative initiatives with regulatory authorities. So this is the last point of this slide, where where the regulatory authority is the linchpin to our strategy or strategy for sustainable compliance. Their impact of collaborative initiatives where businesses actively engage with regulators to co-create framework that are not only compliant but also foster innovation in sustainable transportation and fleet optimization. Can we get to the next slide? Thank you. Now, what are the consumer expectations when we talk about global transformation on transportation and fleet management? So, increasing emphasis on sustainable products and services. Do we have this expectation from our consumers? Yes, we do, which highlights the unmistakable trend of consumers placing an increasing emphasis on sustainable products and services, which demand for transparency, accountability, and environmental responsibility, reshaping the very foundation of consumer expectation and our adaptability to adapt is crucial for the success of the global supply chain. Now, these expectations are from the consumer end in our supply chain, and how do we go ahead and achieve them. So the first point under that is adapting the green logistics practices, which involves the widespread adoption of green logistics practices from electric vehicles in transportation fleets to eco-friendly packaging solutions. Businesses can align their practices with consumer values, demonstrating a commitment to sustainability. Yeah. So transparent communication and marketing. This also plays a crucial role in managing consumer expectations by openly sharing information about sustainable initiatives. Businesses can build trust and loyalty among environmental conscious consumers. Authenticity in communication is key to fostering long-term relationships. So, having said this, how does it impact the last mile innovation on customer satisfaction? So, last mile of delivery is a focal point for consumers' expectation today, because today we are in a e-world, era of e-commerce. So here in last mile deliveries, the such as the use of electric bikes and drones, which are still yet to uh, be part of the industry, can not only enhance efficiencies but also contribute to a positive consumer experience. Timely and sustainable deliveries are becoming increasingly synonymous with customer satisfaction. Influencing circular supply chain practices on consumer loyalty resonates strongly with consumer expectations. The ability to recycle, repurpose, and or reasonably dispose of products at the end of their life cycle is becoming a decisive factor in consumer loyalty. Embracing a circular economy approach signals a commitment to minimizing environmental impact. In this entire presentation, I'm going back and forth to environment because this is where the entire industry is getting focused, and this is where the entire industry has to walk through. So my focus on this presentation is all towards that, and that's the reason I had taken these 10 vital points to give an idea of where we have to head to for leaders in supply chain, so that they take a lot of little thought about each of these aspects when in our day-to-day life, so that we slowly move and achieve these targets quickly. Now, the last point in this particular consumer expectation is consumer impact on shifting industry trends. This is going to be evident now. Businesses must remain agile and responsive to changing consumer sentiments. So, monitoring social and environmental trends allows for anticipatory adoption, positioning organizations as leaders in meeting evolving consumer expectations. Hope everybody is following this. So the next point is how does it affect the cost saving and efficiencies? How do we bring this balance? Now, this has been an inherent challenge of balancing costs and sustainable practices. In a competitive market today, The pressure to reduce operational expenses is relentless, often creating tensions with the imperative to adopt environmentally friendly solutions. Striking the right balance is essential for the long-term success of our global supply chain. Now, investing in efficient fuel technologies is our first strategic move towards cost saving. Now, having said this, the efficiency lies in the investment of fuel efficient technologies, transitioning to vehicle powered with alternative fuels or enhancing the fuel efficiency of existing fleet can result in significant cost saving over time. But mitigating the essential investment through operational efficiencies are more gainful. Predictive analytics of route optimization is another way to do it. By leveraging real-time data and machine learning algorithms, businesses can streamline routes, minimize idle time, and reduce overall transportation cost. The integration of smart technologies is pivotal in achieving both cost saving and operational efficiencies. There is another alternative which is through multimodal integration, a, a paradigm shift in achieving cost savings and efficiencies. By seamlessly combining various modes of transportation, road, rail, air, and sea, businesses can optimize routes and leverage the strengths of each mode, resulting in a more economical and environmentally sustainable supply chain. Next, let's talk about life cycle cost analysis on decision making. This is a strategic tool in making informed decisions. By evaluating the total cost of ownership over a product or system's lifespan, businesses can identify opportunities for efficiency gains and assess the true economic and environmental impact of their choice. Collaborative initiatives. By partnering with suppliers, logistics providers, and industry stakeholders, businesses can collectively identify and implement strategies that drive efficiency gains throughout the supply chain. Shared resources, knowledge, and best practices contribute to a more efficient and sustainable ecosystem. The next slide is on resilience. The most vulnerable inherent in traditional supply chain, where external shocks, be they natural disaster, geopolitical tensions, or pandemics, can disrupt operations and compromise the reliability of our supply networks. The challenge lies in fortifying our systems against such disruptions while ensuring sustainability remains at the forefront. So how do we do it? Decentralized and diversified transportation network, which is the first line of defense involving the creation of hubs strategically and leveraging various nodes of transportation, we can mitigate the impact of disrupting impact of disruption in a single region. This not only enhances resilience, but also aligns with sustainability goals by reducing reliance on centralized resource intensive logistics. Having said this, resilient technologies in fleet optimization, adoption of resilient technologies in fleet optimization, where from autonomous vehicles to blockchain of supply chain transparency, these technologies enhance our ability to adapt to unforeseen challenges. Integrating these technologies ensure that our fleets remain agile and responsive in the face of disruptions. Now, if we have impacts of climate resilient infrastructure on supply chain resilience, yes, a key component in fostering supply chain resilience by constructing and retrofitting infrastructure with climate change in mind, businesses can minimize the impact of ex extreme weather events and ensure continuity in transportation and fleet operations. How do we strengthen resilience through suppliers diversification and collaboration? Now, this is pivotal in building resilience by working closely with suppliers, establishing collaborative relationships. Businesses can create a network of support that facilitates quick recovery in the face of disruption. Diversification of suppliers across regions further enhances the resilience. So how do we have a continuous impact on continuous risk assessment on what resilience that we have created? Now, by proactively identifying potential risks and developing contingency plans, businesses can fortify these resilience against unforeseen challenges. This iterative approach ensures that supply chains are equipped to adapt to changing circumstances. The next slide is visibility and transparency. Now, the perennial issue here is a lack of visibility. The opacity in operation compounded by fragmented information system and disparate data sources possess a significant obstacle to achieving transparencies and visibility in transportation and fleet optimization. Now, by integrating a real-time monitoring system, which will enhance visibility and transparency, involving the integration of real-time monitoring systems by leveraging IoT devices and sensors, businesses can gain instantaneous insight into the location, conditions, and performance of their fleets. This not only optimizes operations, but also fosters transparency throughout the supply chain. Now, how does blockchain for transparent and traceable transactions help this activity do more than what we are currently facing is by leveraging the blockchain and establishing an inimitable and decentralized ledgers that provide a single source of trust, single source of not trust, just truth for all stakeholders. This not only enhances visibility, but also instills trust through transparency in transaction and data sharing.
Nijambai, we have a couple of questions. Would you like to take it up while
Yeah,
doing it?
yeah, we can.
Okay, so the question is, so you can continue, by the way, but
Yeah.
the question is, the transportation industry in India is very unorganized at the moment. Okay, so it is going towards organized industry where the importance of drivers and then operators are not recognized still to a level where it has to be. Okay, so how does that all these things will happen if you don't solve the fundamental problem in the industry? Okay, and then there are different type of operators, like you have fleet owners, we have 3PL operators, okay,
Yeah.
so large operators. Okay. So in this scenario, how does that sustainability things, whatever we just briefed, will fit into? I think that will be more like we can catch it up, can
Yeah.
understand it.
See, basically this current status in Indian industry, this is going through a tremendous change in phase. Okay. Now, if you see, most of the long haul transportation by road are slowly getting converted into rail and postal movements today. So what is happening is then we are talking about only the last mile and the first mile part. The roads on the vehicles on the roads are also getting transformed. The requirement of drivers are more challenging because they are getting recognized as local drivers, like drivers of Uber or Ola or any other passenger car drivers. They are actually getting transformed with the industry requirements. Like for example, we are more into today e-commerce world than what you call manufacturing or distribution world. Okay, this changing scenarios in the industry with keeping in mind the environmental impacts that is happening, and governments and companies bringing in these evolving requirement of environmental what you call safety and ESG procedures and policies coming into place. This is all evolving into a different ball game now. Everybody is targeting into aligning to these requirements. And when it comes to drivers, what you call unorganized system of working with drivers and pilferages and all that stuff, these are all going to get to an end because the paradigm shift from the fact from of the long haul businesses are slowly moving towards rail and postal areas, postal transportation, which will minimize your long hauls and which will increase our short hauls. So short hauls are basically within intra-city movements or intercity movements. Very on a very higher side, it is only going to be intercity movements. Maximum of it is going to be intra-city movements.
Okay.
So
So if
this,
these,
yeah.
in the multimodal concept, where
Yeah.
the organizations are long hauls are moving into rail, the coastal transport.
Yeah.
So what about the cost? So how does that? Is that cost reduce or
See,
it cost
there are
increase?
two benefits. There are
It's
two benefits that come into this. One is your CO2 emission, carbon footprints are coming down. Okay, and the second one is you're cheaper than the road transport. And third one is the more what you call reliability of reaching the destination intact. Also, the risk of accidents and en route mishaps are getting eliminated in this.
Mhm. Mhm.
So it's actually becoming a big shift in the industry now.
Okay.
With
So,
yeah,
mm,
please, please.
now the emergence of 3PL
Hmm.
and 4PL concept,
Hmm.
how does that change? Because the fleet owners
Hmm.
may not be very efficient how to manage
Hmm.
their fleet. So how does that 3PL help in this? And
Hmm.
then what are the best practices in this? Just
Say for example, now when we just spoke about blockchain, transparency, traceability, transactions, real-time monitoring, and all that. Now, these 3PLs are investing more into these kind of technologies and advancements, where they are also talking about carbon footprints, and there are systems and what you call products available in the market today which can monitor the carbon footprints, which can monitor the reduction in carbon footprints, and this has all been invested. All this investment is being done by the 3PL operators today. So they are able to educate, train, and monitor the 4PL, the truck owners or the fleet owners that we are talking about. Now, these fleet owners are all going to be more into last mile and short mile deliveries. They are slowly getting converted into that. Nobody is wanting today to what you call move on a longer distance on a truck rather than shorter distances.
perfect. Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have a time constraint, Nijamba. Just you
Yeah.
can just complete it
So
in 5-10 minutes max.
yeah. So the next area that we are talking about is okay, transparency. There are two more points to complete. And just quickly run them through. So impact on data sharing across the supply chain. This emphasizes uh, the impact of communication, collaboration among suppliers, manufacturers, logistics providers, and retailers enable the seamless flow of information. This not only enhances visibility, but also facilitates collective decision making on optimized transportation and fleet operations. So I will, okay, the next point is utilizing performance metrics for sustainability. Establishing and sharing key performance indicators related to environmental impact. Businesses can showcase their uh, commitments to sustainability and provide stakeholders with clear insight to their efforts and progresses. The next slide is on risk mitigation. Here, I'll just quickly talk about the major risks that are there, ranging from geopolitical tensions to natural disasters or disrupt transportation and fleet optimization. Uh, Now, this challenge is to mitigate these risks proactively while maintaining a focus on sustainable solutions. So renewable energy is one part of it where we are moving out of fossil fuels uh, 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 and talking about alternative renewable energy where we are talking about hydrogen, we are talking about electric vehicles, and we are also talking about the aerial mode of vehicles. Visibility of for proactive risk management. Here we are talking about IoT sensors and real-time tracking, which can give you a lot of visibility and enable the early detection of any potential disruptions, allowing for proactive risk mitigation and strategies. Collaborative initiatives for resilient supply chain would be more onto businesses where you have collectively identify and address potential risks with other industries, logistics partners, and suppliers. Collaborative problem solving enhances the agility and adaptability of supply chain in the faces of uncertainties. Climatic resilient infrastructure. Now, this is basically by constructing and retrofitting the facilities to withstand climate-related challenges. Businesses can reduce the impact of disruption on transportation and fleet operations. Final point on this slide is on risk modeling and risk modeling through data analysis, analytics, where we are talking about proactive approach, enabling informed decision making and development of mitigation strategies before risk materializes. I would like to skip the next slide and go to slide social responsibility slide. Yeah. So here we are depicting the social impact embedded in traditional supply chain, from labor conditions to community well-being. The challenge lies in addressing and mitigating these social concerns while optimizing transportation and fleet management on a global scale. So ethical sourcing of social responsible supply chain involves fair labor practices and social responsibility standards. Businesses can contribute to positive social impacts throughout the supply chain. Fair labor practices in fleet management enhances social responsibility by ensuring that their workforce is treated ethically and with dignity. Investing in welfare of those operating the fleets is integral to a social responsible approach. Now, community engagement and social responsibility. This is a pivotal role to social responsibility by actively involving and supporting the communities where operations occur. Businesses can build positive relationships, create local opportunities, and contribute to the overall well-being of the region impacted by transportation and fleet optimization activities. Achieving social responsibility through diversity and inclusivity. This can be done through diverse perspectives, enhancing innovation and ensure that benefits of sustainable transportation and fleet optimization are shared equitably. The last point on this slide is on transparent communication on social initiatives, which can foster transparency and accountability. Transparent communication can build credibility and demonstrate a genuine commitment to making a positive social impact. So finally, the long-term viability and competitiveness, which is an inherent challenge of ensuring long-term viability and competitiveness through rapidly changing technologies, consumer references, and global conditions necessitate the strategic re-evaluation of our practices to stay relevant and competitive in this long run. So technology integration, future proofing is one of them, which can be done through machine learning, artificial intelligence, IoT technologies. Technological innovation not only can enhance efficiencies, but also provision supply chain for long-term competitiveness. Circular economy adoption to sustainable practices. This actually relates to fleet components with longevity and recyclability in mind. Businesses contribute to resource conservation and position themselves as leaders in sustainable practices. Diversification of resilient supplies. This basically is on transportation modes, suppliers, and geographic dependency. Businesses can mitigate risks and enhance long-term viability. A resilient supply chain that can adapt to changing conditions is a key factor in maintaining competitiveness. Continuous innovation and competitiveness can be a culture of innovation and encouraging agility in adapting to market changes. Businesses stay ahead of curve. The ability to innovate and adapt becomes a competitive advantage in an ever evolving global landscape. Finally,
Great.
we come to the last point of this presentation, which is compliance of strategic advantage. This signifies the regulatory compliance as a strategic advantage, proactively adhering to and even exceeding sustainability regulations. Businesses can position themselves as industry leaders. Regulatory compliance also becomes not just a requirement, but a differentiator that enhances long-term viability and competitiveness. So here we end this session, and thank you so much for giving this opportunity to share my views and thoughts.
Thank you, Nizam bhai.
Yeah,
It's a very heavy. Okay.
yeah,
So before closing, can you give like three key takeaways uh, in all these discussions for supply chain practitioners
yeah.
and also the fleet business
Mm.
owners or managers? So top three things which you from top of your mind. So what do
Yeah.
you think? So how the industry is going and what we should do and what we should
The
learn? What
yeah.
is it? Three key takeaways from your? Yeah.
So the first takeaway is on ESG, environmental social responsibility, which the entire globe is heading to. That should be always the top thought in our mind in any activity that we start with or are engaging with for all supply chain managers. Because we are the people who are actually polluting a lot on the uh, planet by
Mhm.
the way of transportation, your carbon emission and footprints. This is point number one. If we keep that in mind, I think the rest will all fall in place. The second point is with this keeping in mind, with country to country, there are different economies, different requirements, different consumer requirements, and all that stuff. So the second thing is where we are talking about consolidation and ensuring that there is a longer haul which goes on uh, lesser carbon footprint. Okay, so the conversion is for all 3PL or partners or manufacturing supply chain managers. My suggestion is try out the long haul things. You might have two challenges in this. One is on the timeline, transit time will be little more than what you are on the road today, maybe a day or two. So if we are able to make up on that transit delay with your increasing stock levels or by adjusting your stock requirement and other things, then I think this would be a cost-effective portion, which will also give you a very good carbon footprint. Okay, it is less costlier. It will give you better carbon footprint, and your customers will love to work with you. These are the three advantages
It's
that we have
fantastic.
in this.
That's a fantastic. Nizam, thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thanks for giving a wonderful lecture. Okay, so it's a very heavy topic.
yeah,
It's not easy, but we will have a detailed discussion sometime.
yeah, sure,
Okay,
sure.
thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you very much.